Dr. Edwin Price has visited 100 countries in the last 50 years as part of his international cooperation work. International cooperation refers to all the different ways countries work together to tackle international issues. For example, as an expert on agricultural economics, Dr. Price has advised many developing nations on agricultural progress. He is currently the director of the Conflict and Development Center at Texas A&M University. He also holds the first Howard G. Buffett Foundation Chair at the university. And he still finds time to work on programs supported by the U.S. Agency for International Cooperation. He's a leader in the effort to eradicate famine and promote agricultural cooperation in the world. Let's go back and begin with how you got started in this work, because I understand your major in university was actually not agriculture. You were majoring in physics, but then you went to the Peace Corps in Malaysia, and this is where you had a life-changing experience, and you changed your work and you changed your study and devoted yourself to this line of work for the remaining many years. So tell us exactly, what was it that changed your life? What was it, the experience?
That's great. It's a good question. What happened was in 1960, John F. Kennedy was elected president, and at the time of his campaign, he spoke of forming a Peace Corps, a corps of young people who would work in other countries in their development. It captured my imagination right in the beginning. I was a freshman in college at that time, and when he was elected, I wrote immediately to the White House and I said, I got to go. It took really 2 years before the organization got founded, and then another year before I was accepted for work in Sarawak, which was at that time a British colony. It was not yet a part of Malaysia. The people that I was sent to work with were the Dayak or the Iban, are wonderful people high in the jungles of Sarawak on the island of Borneo. My job was to form 4-H clubs. In fact, we formed the first 4-H clubs ever in that country.
What's a 4-H club?
4-H is a youth organization devoted to agriculture. Korea has the 4-H clubs as well. The H's stand for head, heart, hands, and health. One dedicates oneself to the betterment of their community and their world through agriculture in the 4-H organization. That's what I was doing there with young Iban. It was the greatest time of my life.
What specific change did you see in the people of Sarawak? I mean, what kind of role were you playing? Were you able to make a huge difference in the short amount of time that you were there? How long were you there for?
2 years.
2 years, so
yes.
It's not a short
And I worked with young people, and I like to feel that, that we did make changes in their lives. There are 2 or 3 parts to this. One of them is the knowledge that you impart. But I think very often what's more important is the hope that you impart. When you give people a vision of the rest of the world, that gives them ambition to do great things. And I think just giving faith and showing your faith in young people has an enormous impact on them and creates a difference in their lives. So I think it was at least both the knowledge that I imparted as well as encouraging them to be important in their own societies. Colleagues and I often think that if we had more youth programs like that around the world, we would be in a much better shape today.
Why are there not more? Is it a lack of interest among the youth, or just not enough funding? Why do you think?
I think it's 3 or 4 reasons. One of them is that, first of all, in traditional societies, in many societies, youth are not regarded as they're to be seen and not heard, and there's a kind of a class difference between the upper echelon in our society and the managers of our institutions and youth. So there's that gap, and it takes a while to get over that. Of course, we know that in a modernizing country like Korea, that changes fairly quickly. The other thing is, when a country is poor, everybody is hungry. And the people, and if a youth takes the job of an adult by being ambitious, that can be harmful for him, and it can be harmful for the adults. So there's often a kind of a trade unionism among adults that we can't share jobs with youth.
Okay.
So I think that's one of the reasons, a couple of the reasons why youth get left behind. And we really like to change that as well, because again, we'll talk a little bit about conflict, but
Yes.
youth that don't envision a future for themselves is really one of the greatest threats that we have to our society.